Right now, as you read these words, you are going blind. Over and over, several times a second. You won't notice it. You have never noticed it. Not once in your entire life. But in the time it takes to read this sentence, the world in front of you has gone completely dark and come back a dozen times, and your brain deleted every single blackout before you could catch it. This isn't a metaphor. It's not eye strain, and it's not something wrong with you. It happens to every human being who has ever lived for a total of somewhere between 40 minutes and over an hour of every single waking day. You are functionally blind for a meaningful fraction of your life. And the strangest part isn't that it happens, it's how your brain hides it from you. Because to keep you from noticing the darkness, your brain does something to time itself, something that means the smooth, continuous world you think you're looking at right now doesn't actually exist. Let's start with your eyes, because they don't move the way you think they do. You feel like your gaze glides smoothly across a scene. It doesn't. Your eyes move in tiny, violent jumps called saccades. Right now, reading this line, your eyes aren't sliding across the words. They're snapping from point to point in sharp little flicks, 3, sometimes 4 times every single second. It's one of the fastest movements the human body can make, and you make them constantly while reading, while talking, while looking at a face. More than 100,000 of them every day. Here's the problem those jumps create. When your eyes whip from one point to another that fast, the image hitting your retina should be a smeared, useless blur like a photo taken from a moving car. Whip your phone across your field of view and watch how the screen smears. That is what the inside of your vision should look like 3 times a second, every second, for your entire life, but it doesn't. You never see the blur, and the reason you never see it is that your brain solves the problem in the simplest, most brutal way possible. It turns the vision off. The instant your eyes begin to move, your brain suppresses the visual signal. It stops processing what your eyes are sending. For the entire duration of that jump, you are blind. Then, the moment your eyes land on their new target and lock still, the picture switches back on. Scientists call this saccadic masking, and it means that every time your eyes move, there is a gap, a small blackout, a fraction of a second where you see nothing at all. And it happens over 100,000 times a day. Now, you're probably skeptical. You feel like you can see the whole time, so let's prove it. Right now, you can catch your own brain doing this with nothing but a mirror. Go to a mirror and look closely at your own eyes. Look at your left eye. Now look at your right eye. Now back to the left. Go back and forth as fast as you want. You will never, ever see your own eyes move. You'll see them locked on the left, then locked on the right, but the movement in between, the flick itself, is simply gone. It's not there. Now, here's the part that should unsettle you. If another person stands next to you and watches your eyes do the exact same thing, they see your eyes darting back and forth clearly, obviously every time. The movement is real. It's happening. Everyone can see it, except you, the one person who is actually doing it. You are blind to it in real time, and you have been your whole life. This isn't new science. It was first documented in 1898 by 2 researchers named Erdmann and Dodge, who noticed you cannot watch your own eyes move in a mirror no matter how hard you try. Over 120 years ago, they found the seam in human vision. Most people still have no idea it's there, so that's the blindness. But blindness alone isn't the disturbing part. Think about it. If the lights in a room switched off 100,000 times a day, you would notice the flicker. The world would strobe. It would be unbearable, but your world doesn't flicker. It feels perfectly smooth, continuous, unbroken. So how does your brain take a stream full of holes and make it feel seamless? The answer is that your brain lies to you about time. And we can measure the lie. You've almost certainly experienced it without knowing what it was. You glance at a clock, an old analog one with a ticking second hand, and for just a moment, that first second seems to last too long. The hand seems frozen, stuck, hanging there a beat longer than it should before it finally ticks on. You've probably assumed the clock was faulty. It isn't. Your brain is. In 2001, a team of neuroscientists at University College London, led by Keelan Yarrow, published a study on exactly this in the journal Nature. They called it the stopped clock illusion, or chronostasis. Here's what's happening. When your eyes jump to the clock, there's a blackout during the jump, remember? Your brain hates that gap. So it does something extraordinary. It takes the very first clear image your eyes land on, the frozen second hand, and it stretches that image backwards in time, using it to paper over the blank left by the saccade. Your brain fills the hole in the past with a picture from the present. That's why the second feels too long. You are literally seeing a moment that already happened, backdated to cover a gap you were never allowed to know about. Read that again, because it's the whole thing. Your brain edits your experience of time so that the blindness never appears. It doesn't show you reality as it arrives. It shows you a version stitched together after the fact, with the dark parts cut out and the seams painted over using images pulled from a fraction of a second in the future. So let's add it up. A saccade lasts anywhere from 20 to 200 milliseconds. You make well over 100,000 of them a day. Stack every one of those blackouts end to end, and the numbers researchers arrive at are staggering. Estimates ranging from around 40 minutes to well over an hour of every waking day spent completely blind. Not asleep, not blinking, blind, with your eyes wide open, looking right at the world. Over a year, that's days. Over a lifetime, it adds up to several years. Years of your life spent in a darkness you have never once perceived. You have already lived through more of it today than you'll ever remember, and you will never catch a single second of it happening. But here's the part nobody talks about. It's tempting to think, okay, so I lose a little time, no harm done, the brain patches it up, but look at what the patch actually is. The smooth, seamless, continuous present that you are experiencing at this very moment, the one thing you would swear is real, the raw feed of reality itself, is not raw at all. It is a construction. It is edited footage. Your brain is a film editor that shoots a scene full of gaps, cuts out every gap, splices the good frames together, backdates them so the timing feels right, and then shows you the finished cut while hiding the fact that any editing happened at all. You have never seen the world as it is. You have never experienced a single continuous moment of unbroken reality. What you call seeing, what you call now, is a highlight reel assembled in the dark, a fraction of a second late, by something you cannot feel and cannot stop. For your entire life, you have trusted your eyes as the one thing that shows you the truth. They don't. They go dark 100,000 times a day, and every time your brain quietly rewrites the past so you'll never know they did. The world you're looking at right now is a story your brain is telling you about a moment that's already gone. And the darkness between the frames is where most of your life is actually happening.